Cascade Hoops Talk, this is Billy D. Happy New Year, and NAIA basketball is back. Cascade Hoops Talk starts right now. Cascade Hoops Talk, produced in the shadow of the beautiful Cascade Mountains and bringing the world NAIA basketball. One podcast at a time. Well, let's do what we always do. Start with number one in the Crossroads Conference. As I said, Happy New Year. Don't forget the new RPI comes out this morning. We'll talk more about that before we wrap up. Grace College goes to 15-0. This is pretty good for a rebuilding year for Scott Moore. They beat Northwest Mount Vernon Nazarene 103-93. That game was in Warsaw there. Ian Rosh, 17 points, 5 rebounds. Gage Sefton, 19 points, 9 rebounds. They really got after it. So Grace goes to 15-0, as I said, and they're going to play at Marion. They're going to go down to Indianapolis for that one and play on Wednesday. Indiana Wesleyan, they hosted Spring Arbor. They beat them 77-71. Cademan Bontrager had a game, 17 points, 15 rebounds, a big boy double-double. DJ Moore, a great game, 22 points, 4 assists. So they go to 13-2, and they're going to be at Mount Vernon Nazarene on Wednesday. And then one more there in the Crossroads, Bethel University. They had a big test. The Huntington Foresters, who have been hot as a pistol, came down to Mishawaka. Bethel won this game 82-76. Luke Phillida McBride, 19 points, 5 assists. Austin Kripe, 24 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. The Pilots are 14-1. They're going to be at Spring Arbor on Wednesday. Let's take a look at the rest of the conference. Just a couple games, or one game I really want to talk about. Taylor won. I'll show you in the standings. We've got to keep an eye on them. I'll just scroll through the rest of the standings. Let's go, or not the standings. Those were the games Saturday. Let's look at the standings. So obviously Grace leads the standings with Bethel and Taylor one game back, and Indiana Wesleyan and Mount Vernon another game back. So the games on, what are these? Wednesday, I believe. Indiana Wesleyan is going to be at Mount Vernon Nazarene. Indiana Wesleyan has to win. They have to win that game. And Taylor is going to be in Fort Wayne at St. Francis, and they have to win to keep pace with Grace. So look for those. Okay, Freed Hardeman, they're in action this weekend. Still non-conference. They go into conference play this week, but Saturday they played Faulkner. They beat them 91-69. Phil Horton, 17 points, 11 rebounds for the double-double. Rico Sane, 14 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. They go to 15-1, and they're going to host Georgetown on Thursday to kick off Mid-South play. Also, University of the Cumberlands, they beat a good Dalton State team, 80-72. The game was at the Cumberlands. Kyle Duke, 18 points, 3 rebounds. Javecchio Thomas, 9 points, 16 rebounds. I had a lot of jumping, man. 16 rebounds. They go to 15-1, and they are going to be at Bethel on Thursday as they kick off Mid-South play. Number 16, Georgetown, they played Sunday. They beat Washington Adventist 77-62. Darian Lewis, 18 points, 5 rebounds. And Julius Emmett said, if those guys all got a double-double, I want one too. He had 11 points, 11 rebounds. Georgetown goes to 13-3. We'll get the conference standings once that thing gets kicked off next week. Jump over to the GSAC where number 4, Arizona Christian is. They defeated OUAZ on Saturday. They had to travel clear over across town to OUAZ, probably a 10-minute bus ride. Anyway, they beat them 79-63. Sabian Kane, 20 points, 2 rebounds. S.A. Onakpoma, 16 points, 7 rebounds. So Arizona Christian goes to 12-4, and they're going to host Park Gilbert on Saturday. And Hope International, they won again. Life Pacific gave them a pretty good game at Hope. Final score was 87-83. Big Nick Hopkins, 17 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. And the freshman, Amon Haynes, 21 points, 3 rebounds. Hope is 13-2 now, and they will host the Masters on Tuesday. That, I predict, is a showdown. Also in the GSAC, Benedictine Mesa, they also went clear across town. They had a short drive to Park Gilbert, or no, Park Gilbert came to them. Excuse me. 90-72 though. Benedictine Mesa was victorious. Eric Blackwell, 17 points, 7 rebounds. Isaiah Howard, 20 points, 4 rebounds. Benedictine Mesa is 16-0. Making some noise out there in the GSAC. So let's look at those GSAC standings. Oh, I think I put these backwards. I think I normally show the full results. But anyway, I know why, because I showed you all of them in the top 25. Benedictine Mesa leads the conference 4-0. Hope's they're also, well, they don't have any losses. You guys can read that. 3-0, 3-0. Arizona Christian's a half game back, 3-1. So here's the games coming up, and these are on Tuesday. The Masters is at Hope, as I said, and then another one to really watch for on Thursday is Embry-Riddle is at the Masters. Embry-Riddle is sneaky good. They could beat the Masters there, so we'll have to see what happens. Jump over to the Sooner, where number 5 Langston resides. They beat Central Christian. They played there at Langston, but they beat them 82-63. Big J Wilson, 21 points, 4 rebounds. Ooh, his old team could have used some of those points. They got beaten overtime. Ooh, we'll talk about that later, though. Trey Clark, 18 points, 7 rebounds. Good night for those guys. Langston is now 11-2 in the Sooner, and they will play at Oklahoma City on Thursday. That should be a showdown. So here's the other games in the conference. Really only one. Mid-America Christian, which is knocking on the door there at the first bunch, they won. Also, I didn't star this one, but Columbia beat John Brown, but that's a non-conference game right there. You know the rest of them. A couple of non-conference mixed in still. In fact, I think all those were non-conference. So look at the standings. Langston is 7-1, Nelson 6-1. And then you can see Oklahoma City and John Brown, and then Mid-America Christian, Wayland Baptist, Texas Wesley. Anyway, it's a bunch. They're all bunched up. So let's look at the games coming up. I circled a few that are really critical. I'll show you all the games. But at Wayland Baptist is going to be at Mid-America Christian. If Mid-America Christian is going to make a run in the Sooner, they have to beat Wayland Baptist. Period. End of sentence. John Brown is going to be at Nelson. John Brown has to find a way to win at Nelson. If you're going to win the Sooner, you have to win at Nelson. And Langston has to go to Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City's at home. If they're going to make noise in the Sooner, they have to be able to hold serve at home even against Langston. And that'll really put them in good shape. So watch those games. Those are standings movers right there. Let's jump over to the KCAC. Oklahoma Wesleyan, the Eagles, they defeated Bethany. This is a game that everybody expected them to easily win, but they won, but not easily. They won at 83-81. They made a couple free throws in the last 30 seconds, and I don't mean like go to the line and made two. They went to the line, hit a pair, or split a pair. Later they went to the line, split a pair. But those 2 points held up, and they were able to beat Bethany. Tamaje Azugabe, he had 18 points, 4 rebounds. Ethan Williams, 15 points, 5 rebounds. So Oklahoma Wesleyan goes to 11-2, and they're going to host Spurgeon in a non-conference game today. Friends was in action as well in the KCAC. They beat Ottawa. No small task. I was really keeping an eye on that game. I thought Ottawa had a chance. They're very good this year. But anyway, Friends won 84-75. Ringo Deng, 22 points, 11 rebounds for his double-double. Khalees Lee, 23 points, 6 rebounds. Friends is now 12-2. They're going to be at Sterling on Wednesday. Okay, let's look at the other games. Couple I wanted to mention. Evangel won. That was big. I'll show you why. Same with Bethel. The rest of these we talked about. Okay. Tabor won. Congratulations. Tabor got that victory. They've struggled this year. So let's look at the standings. Friends in Oklahoma Wesleyan are tied for first. Bethel and Evangel, that's why I circled those games, are only a 1 game back. And McPherson is 1 game back. So Evangel's going to be at Southwestern. Southwestern is a very, very tough place to play because see that cat right there? That is the jinx. That's why it's so hard to win at Southwestern. That black cat is a jinx. And if you think I'm kidding, look it up. York's going to be at McPherson. McPherson has to beat York if they're going to move into that top 4. And Friends has to beat Sterling at Sterling. Again, these places are not easy. When you go on the road, I don't care if it's in the KCAC or the Cascade or the Crossroads, it is hard to win. Jumping down to the Sun Conference, number 8, Ave Maria. They just keep winning and winning and winning. They beat Florida Memorial. They got Florida. Nobody will own up to it, but they've got Florida Memorial's number. Florida Memorial is big and strong. They pound the boards. Ave Maria loves to run a track meet. 2 completely different teams, and Ave Maria just has their number. Anyway, they beat them 90-75. Jack Watkins, 20.7 rebounds. Marlon Bennett, 22.6 rebounds. So they go to 14-1, and they will host Warner on Wednesday. Also, Kaiser in action in the Sun. They played New College. They beat them 87-73. New College has really struggled this year. So Kaiser anyway is 12-1. Cameron James 19.7 rebounds, and Jonathan Paul 12 points, 4 rebounds. Kaiser's going to host Southeastern on Wednesday. That's going to be a showdown. I'll show you why. Here's the rest of the games in the league. Southeastern beat Weber International, and you see all the rest of these. St. Thomas won. So let's show you the standings here. So Ave Maria leads the league. Southeastern is up there at 4-0 with them. That's why I circled that one game. Kaiser's 3-0. Florida Memorial now is 2-2. That was a costly loss to Ave Maria. So here's the games coming up on Wednesday. This is a standings mover. Southeastern's at Kaiser. Kaiser's at home. The odds would be that they're going to hold their serve, but we'll have to see. Florida Memorial has to win to come back. I'm sure they'll get Weber because Florida Memorial will be at home, but they have to win that game. In the WAC, only one top 25 team, number 9, Indiana Tech. They were upset by Madonna. I say upset, but those 2 programs have been rivals and gone at it for years and years and years. 2 of the best coaches in the country. But that's the way it works. They went to Madonna and they got beat. That's just the end of the story. Madonna won this game 98-91. Congratulations to them. Big win for Madonna. Amani Weston, 32 points. Joey Lydell added 22 points and 7 rebounds. Indiana Tech, they go to 11-2, and it doesn't get any easier because they're going to host Lourdes on Wednesday. Take a look at the rest of the WAC. Congratulations to Northwestern Ohio. I think it's been a long time, since they've won up at Cornerstone in Grand Rapids. That's a big win for that program. Congratulations, Coach. Lawrence Tech lost to Lourdes. That was a real chance for Lawrence Tech to make a move. And I think we talked about the rest. Okay. Look at the standings in the Wolverine Hoosier. Indiana Tech's 1 game up on Lourdes and Madonna. You can see them there. They're all kind of bunched up. And here's the games coming up. I circle the ones that I call them standings movers. Lourdes and Indiana Tech. Everybody's chasing Indiana Tech, and Lourdes would be the one that would love to be the one to put another mark in their record. And Lawrence Tech needs to win against Aquinas. They're going to be on the road, but they have to win or they're going to lose touch with the leaders. Okay, let's go over the Frontier. This is, you talk about a conference it's difficult to keep track of. There's 247,000 teams, and they play Friday and Saturday night. Anyway, it's a rough conference to keep track of. So Carroll College on Friday played Dakota State. Dakota State is really good this year, and they beat them 82-81. It was a huge win for Carroll College. Isaac Round, 20 points, 2 rebounds. Isaiah Crane, if you haven't seen him play, Isaiah Crane's a very good basketball player. 18 points, 4 rebounds, and that was on Friday. And then on Saturday, another very good team, Bellevue, came into Helena, and they beat Carroll 81-77. Ahmad Bynum, 22 points, and Jaden Phillips, 20 points for Bellevue. So Carroll ends the weekend at 10-4, and they're going to host Mayville on Friday. And that's another team you have to be careful with. You can't look at their record. It's a good team. They got some good players. They're very competitive. And Montana Tech, number 19, they had a good weekend. They went to Bismarck on Friday. They beat them 90-68. Braden Cook, 19 points, 2 rebounds. Asher Williams, 22 points, 2 rebounds. And then on Saturday, they went to Dickinson State. They beat them by 20. That is no small feat to win by 20 at Dickinson State. Congratulations to Montana Tech. Big win. Camden Lawrence, 13 points, 4 rebounds. Asher Williams, 14 points, 2 rebounds. Montana Tech goes to 13-3, and that's wrong up there. They're going to host Providence on Friday. Okay, this is where it really gets fun trying to keep track of the Frontier. Okay, so here's the Friday games. Montana State Northern won over Valley City. That's a big game. Montana State Northern still has contact with the leaders. Montana Western does as well. They won both their games this weekend. They also won at Dickinson State. And Rocky Mountain, they swept this weekend over Bellevue and Dakota State. A big weekend for Danny Neville. And there's the other game. So Montana Tech had a good weekend. Rocky Mountain, Bellevue split. Carroll split. Montana Western, they swept. So let's look at the standings. It's not going to get any clearer when I show you that. So Bellevue and Carroll are tied at the top. And then Rocky Mountain, you can see them here. Montana Western, Montana Tech, Dakota State. And then after Montana Northern, it really starts to drop out. So these 7 teams are really battling for those top spots. And nobody's out of it. There's only 3 games separating these 7. So Bellevue is going to be at Dickinson State. As I said, Dickinson State is a very dangerous place. And I already talked about Mayville going to Carroll. Okay, Valley City at Rocky Mountain. Obviously, Rocky Mountain has to win this game because they're at home. They're in Billings. But Valley City is familiar with Danny Neville, a coach at Rocky Mountain, and Danny Neville is familiar with Valley City. They were rivals for years when he was at Jamestown. And I guarantee you they're packing their bags right now in Valley City, talking about how much they want to beat Danny Neville in Billings. So that game should be very, very interesting. Let's jump over to the GPAC. Northwestern, they lost to Concordia. I think Concordia beat them both. They beat them in Orange City and in Seward. They beat them 85-82. Brooks Kissinger, 29 points. And Logan Wilson, he had 12 points, 7 rebounds. You know, every time I see Brooks Kissinger's name, a former player at Concordia who I talk to often, I asked how the Bulldogs were going to be, and he said, I think they're going to be okay. I think Brooks Kissinger is going to be pretty good. Well, yeah, he is pretty good. Anyway, Northwestern, they go to 13-4, and they're going to host Mount Marty on Wednesday. This is the rest of the standings. Hastings beat Dort. That was a costly loss for Dort. We'll show you in the standings. Briarcliff won at Doane, where dreams go to die. and they get that win, and they're in the thick of it. And Morningside continues to win, and they continue to lead the GPAC. I'll show you right here. 7-1. Concordia is a game back. Briarcliff's a game back from that, and then it's a big mess after that. So the games that are standings movers, Concordia at Morningside. That's the ticket you really want right there. The Concordia at Morningside. And then Midland is at, whoa, stop that. Midland is at Briarcliff, and Briarcliff has to win at home against Midland. They have to. They just have to. If they want a chance to make big noise in the GPAC, they have to win at home against Midland. Okay, let's go over to the Southern States. Number 18, Life. They were at Point. They beat them 105-84. Calvin Payton, he has had an amazing year. 18 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Maurice Wright, 20 points, 4 rebounds. Life goes to 12-3, and they're going to be at Bruton Parker on Tuesday. Let's take a look at the rest of the Southern States. Thomas won. Talked about Life and Point. There's a non-conference game, non-conference. All the rest of these are non-conference. The most telling thing about Saturday for the Southern States is they went 0-3 against the Mid-South. You know, Mike, I might ask you about this when we get to Kansas City. In the standings in the Southern States, I don't know why there's such a big disparity with the number of games, but it is what it is. So Life is 5-0. Loyola is undefeated. Faulkner's 4-1. You guys can read those. But there's 4 teams really competing for the lead. There's 3 games today, but they're all non-conference games. In the Cascade Conference, where number 20 Oregon Tech is, they played Friday and Saturday. On Friday, they went to Walla Walla on the road. They beat them 108-64. Dakota Reber, 17 points, 4 rebounds. Grant Tull, 17 points, 5 rebounds. The 2 seniors right there for Oregon Tech. And then on Saturday, if I can get my clicker going here. On Saturday, Oregon Tech, a big Cascade Conference showdown in Lewiston, Idaho at LC State. Both the teams were, I guess they were 1 game apart. But it was, anyways, a big game. Oregon Tech won at Lewis Clark, 70-66. Jackson Cooper, 25.7 rebounds. Dakota Reber, 14 points, 5 rebounds. Oregon Tech now is 11-3. And huge weekend coming up in the Cascade Conference. I'll go through the whole thing, but Oregon Tech is going to host Eastern Oregon and College of Idaho. Let's take a look at the rest of the scores real quick. Southern Oregon lost to LC State. That was a huge loss for Southern Oregon. They were ahead and they lost at the end. Huge loss. And then on Saturday, Evergreen, congratulations to Cameron Swanson, program that has really been struggling, defeated Corbin in Salem. That was a huge win for the Evergreen program. So let's look at the standings and then the games upcoming, because this is a big weekend in the Cascade Conference. Oregon Tech 6-0. Three teams are 1 game behind them. 2 teams are 2 games behind them. So what is there? There's 6 teams within 2 games. So on Friday, really there's 2 sets of games. I guess that doesn't make sense unless I explain it. I'm not going to bother, but everybody travels in pairs. That's my point. So LC State has to go to Bushnell, and then they have to go over to Corbin. That's what we call the Valley Trip. The Valley Trip is notoriously difficult. It's a place where you always expect you're going to win, or you think you should win, then you don't. So LC State has to make that trip. College of Idaho has to go to Southern Oregon, and then to Oregon Tech, and Eastern Oregon travels with College of Idaho. They have to go to Southern Oregon and Oregon Tech. So those are the games on Saturday. It's just everything's reversed from what I said. It's a weekend that's going to really shape the standings, which are really bungled up right now. this weekend will really start to break things apart, I believe. Start to. So let's go to the Appalachian Conference, where Pikeville has been ruling. I'll show you in the standings. They beat Truett McConnell Saturday 103-61. Big Riley Salmons, he had 28 points, 4 rebounds. L.A. Walker, 15 points, 3 rebounds. They go to 14-2. They're going to host Johnson on Wednesday. Here's the rest of the games in the conference. Really, CIU beat Johnson, but a bunch of non-conference stuff and not any conference games that move anything. So the standings, here's what I mean. Pikeville, this conference now is Pikeville's going to win it. We're almost to that point. Pikeville's going to win it, and everybody's chasing them. And there are, what did I count? 6 teams, six teams within a game apiece. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 6 or 7 teams here, all chasing them, or all chasing CIU. Really, is what they are. So this weekend, no, it's not this weekend. Wednesday, Bluefield's going to be at CIU. CIU has to win that game. Bryan is going to be at Truett McConnell. It's a road game. Bryan has to win to stay in that group. And same thing with Reinhardt. You can see him over here. Reinhardt, they're 4-3. They're in that group. They need to win on the road at Tennessee Wesleyan. You got to win on the road. Okay, let's go over to the Heart of America. Graceland University, number 22 in the country. They beat Culver Stockton 74-58. Carson Bush, 16 points, 3 rebounds. Micah Lamberth, 17 points, 10 rebounds, because he wants a double-double too. So they go to 13-2, and they're going to be at Clark on Wednesday. The Heart of America is another one of those teams, has 10 billion teams. Missouri Baptist fell to Mount Mercy. Big loss for Missouri Baptist. Again, I'll show you when we get in the standings. And then Peru State knocked off William Penn on Saturday. William Penn's trying to make a run toward the top of the conference again, and that really hurt. So let's look at the standings, show you what I mean. Graceland is well in control. Missouri Baptist, I showed you they lost, so now they're 2 games back. And then here's William Penn now. They're 4-3. That loss hurt them. They could have been 5-2, but anyway, they didn't win. You can see they're all there's 8 teams within 1 game apiece fighting for second place in this conference. So let's see. I gotta go. Sorry. Oh jeez. Wow, was that fun? Did that trigger you? Okay. So William Penn is going to host Mount Mercy, and Missouri Valley is going to host Park. Those are 2 teams that have to win to hold their position. These are on Wednesday. Man, sorry for all that jumping back and forth. I didn't mean to do that. Okay, so Georgia Gwinnett, number 24, they beat Bryan 87-78. Mario Hill, the freshman out of Grayson, Georgia, 18.6 rebounds. Drew Kramer, the what do you call him? He's the veteran. Boy, that word just left my mind. The freshman and the veteran. The veteran Drew Kramer set 27 points, 5 rebounds, and they won 87-78, as I said, and they go to 12-4, and they're going to play Washington Adventist on Friday. And number 25, LSU Shreveport, they beat Texas A&M Texarkana 99-81. Hayden Brittingham, 25 points, 8 rebounds. James Johnson, 19 points, 10 rebounds for our last double-double of the night. And they go to 11-3, and they are going to be at Xavier on Thursday for a big showdown game. And here's the games from Saturday. Alexandria won at Louisiana Christian. Big game for the Generals. That's a rivalry game. Our Lady of the Lake, they're staying right there near the top of the conference. They got the win, as did Xavier. Talked about the rest of these. Let's go over to the standings. Okay. Shreveport's 3 games ahead. And then you can see Xavier, Arcana, Alexandria. Right now, a lot of teams are battling for second place. So Texas A&M, Texarkana is going to be at North American. Shreveport's going to be at Xavier. That's a huge, huge game in the conference. And this is probably the game of the week in the Red River Conference. That's on Thursday. These guys are both battling for position. Both these schools have had seasons that up to this point have disappointed, and so they're gonna really be going at it. Let's just put it that way. Okay, a couple things real quick. New Top 25 comes out next Wednesday. Mark your calendar. Don't forget. But today, the new RPI comes out. The best way to explain the RPI is the computer ratings. And they'll come out. Just go to NAIA. I'll put a link down in the description. That's the best ways to find them. Or just they'll put them out on Twitter too. So, but I'll put a link in the bottom in the description. Hey, thank you very much. It's always on the after a weekend. So much information to go through. And I appreciate your patience. And I hope you enjoyed your holiday. I did. And it's just nice to have basketball back and going again. And I hope you have a great day, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Thank you very much for supporting our podcast. Please like and subscribe. Get out to your local NAIA school, because NAIA basketball is the best entertainment value in America.